Okay, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Okay, welcome back. This is the third video for today on this topic, changing the subject of an equation. Each video has been getting progressively more challenging. All right, let's have a look at these now. We've got powers, we've got squares and square roots and things. Let's see how we get on with this. Let's make that a bit more interesting. Here we go. Same thing applies to all of these questions. You just got to know the opposites. Let's get started. Let's make x the subject. X is being cubed. Okay, so the opposite of cubing something is what? Cube rooting. So we get y and we cube root it, and that gives you x, and that's suppose it's right on x, and that gives you x, and that is the end of the question. Okay, are we happy with that? We have to make c the subject. C is being square rooted. That is called the first action. Then it's been added by 6. That is the second action. Okay, I've labeled this square root as first action, second action. I'm going to get rid of them now. So I don't want to confuse with powers or anything. So we have to move the second action first, which is the plus 6. Opposite of plus 6 is minus 6. So a minus 6 is equal to the root of c. I don't want just the root of c, I want the c. So we've got to grab the root sign and chuck it over the equal sign. Opposite square rooting is to square it something. So now because we've got two items, we have to square the whole thing. So we say a minus 6 squared is equal to c. And that is how we must do it. We don't just square the 6 or square the a, we've got to square the whole lot. Yeah? Okay, here comes our next question. So we have to make t the subject. So t divided by 3, then it's been squared. So the first action is divide by 3. Okay, I'm just going to quickly label it. So that's the divide by 3 is the first action, and the squaring is the second action. Okay, I'll label them first. Okay, so now opposite of squaring something is, because we move the last action first, square rooting. So the square root of s is equal to t divided by 3. The brackets are gone. They have evaporated. Now we need to work out the t now. T is left. So opposite divide by 3 is time by 3. Now be careful here. This is a common mistake. Do not put the 3, look over here, do not put the 3 inside the square root. It doesn't go inside. It's not allowed to. The 3 must go outside as a multiplier for the square root of s. Why is all my equals looking like that? So 3 times by the square root of s will give us the t. That's an s in there. 3 times by the square root of s is equal to c. Are we happy with that? Next question. We have b is equal to square root of d minus 4. We have to make d the subject. Now d is first of all been minus by 4. Then it's been square rooted. That's the second action. So we've got to move the square root over first. Upper square rooting is to square something. So b squared is equal to d minus 4. Okay. Now we've got to make d the subject, so we've got to move the minus 4 over. And it becomes a b squared. Opposite minus 4 is plus 4 is equal to d. And that question is done. B squared plus 4 equals d. Opposite minus 4 plus 4. Yes. Happy? In the next question, we have to make z the subject. Now, first of all, z has been multiplied by what? Multiplied by 4y. And then it's been, what's it been done afterwards? It's been cube rooted. So the first action is times by 4y, second action is cube root. So you move the second action first. Opposite of cube rooting is cubing. Now we need to move the multiply by 4y over. Opposite time by 4y is done. Nearly finished. Nearly finished. Okay, here comes the next one. We have x equals 1/3 yz squared. And we have, let's do this one here. A squared equals b squared plus 3cd. Now, if I want to make b the subject, if I want to make, oops, wrong color. If I want to make b the subject, orange. What's been done to the b first? First action, and then it's been by 3cd is the second action. All of that is the second action. It's been added by 3cd. Don't split them up. Opposite of add by 3cd is, so we do the last action first. So a squared minus 3cd is equal to b squared. Now we are in the position to move the square over. Opposite of squaring is square rooting. That's the end of that question. So b is equal to a squared minus 3cd, then all of it square rooted. Remember, when the square goes over, we have to square root the whole lot, not just the a squared item, which is a common mistake. So again, so a squared minus 3cd, all that's on the square root equals b on the other side, yeah? Okay, lovely. Now in the next question here, we have to squeeze it in on the bottom. Let's go for the blue now. Right, we've got to, let's make z the subject. Ready? So we're going to make z the subject. So what's been done to the z first of all? It's been squared, then it's been times by y. Look over here. Times by y, and then divided by 3. Okay, because that's 1/3, multiplied by 1/3, same as dividing by 3. So we got squared is the first action. Okay, I'm just going to quickly, squared is the first action, times by y is the second action, and then divided by 3 is the third action. Now I'm getting rid of all this now because it's making it messy. I'm just showing you for illustration. The first action, second action, and third action. Let's get rid of all that now because it makes the question look really, really untidy. So we have to move the square. First, second, third. So opposite divide by 3 is going to go. So opposite divide by 3 is, what's opposite divide by 3? Times by 3. Okay, now what do we move next? We move the time by y. Remember, the square was the first action. Square was first, time by y is second, and divide by 3 is third. So we go reverse order, third, second, first. So the second action was time by y. So opposite time by y is divided by, oops, will be there. So it's with 3x divided by y is equal to z squared. Now we've got to move the last thing over now. We're now ready to move the squared over. Squared goes over, becomes a what? Square root. I'm just writing the answer over here because I'm running out of space. And that equal sounds looking dodgy again. Not very nice. I don't like that. Equal to, and we have now finally finished. So we get 3x over y, all of it square rooted. We don't just square root the top part, we square root the whole fraction. Because opposite squaring the right hand side is to square root all of the left hand side. Are we happy with that answer now? So quite a little bit of movement there, 3 movements. So what was the first action there? The first action was squared. Second action was time by y. Third action was divide by 3. So which one do we move first? Divide by 3 goes first, then times by y goes next, and then last but not least we goes squared. So if you number the actions properly, then you can undo the question. You can the reverse order easily. Okay, that's the reason why I give you that method. So okay, we gotta make Z the subject. Okay, what's Z being? What's acting on the Z? What's acting on Z? -1. First of all, you haven't realized that it's been timed by -1, and then it's been added by 5, and then it's been divided by 3. So which one do you move first? So it's been timed by -1, added by 5, and then divided by 3. What's the last action? Divide by 3. Lovely. So what do we move first? The divide by 3. So opposite dividing by 3. So that's how we reason with it. I'm going to move the question bit to the right hand side so we don't crash into that. Sorry about that, folks. So 3w is equal to 5 minus 1z. Now, remember what I said before, we don't like dividing by negative numbers. So what I'm going to do a little kind of like a quick, I'm going to make what I'm trying to work out positive. I'm trying to make z the subject. I'm going to change side. Just swap over what's on both sides, swap them over. So now I have positive z is equal to 5 minus 3w. And actually we finished the question there. And that's that question done. Okay. The idea is not to have a minus z as a subject. The idea is try to avoid dividing by -1s. Because that just adds an extra level of complexity and an extra chance of making mistakes for the students in the exam. So that's what I'm trying to give you this kind of alternative method. Normally we wouldn't move the thing that we're trying to work out, we move everything else. But in this particular instance, because what we're trying to work out is negative, we move that instead and make it positive and then carry on. Okay, folks, I hope this page isn't too much of a nightmare for you guys to follow. Whoever's going to be following it. Let me just try to help you out a bit. See if we can do this. And 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 this. Everything is that section. Okay, folks. Thank you very much for joining us on this question. Now the rest of that is now going to be homework exercise 6.12. See you next week, inshallah.